Many people think that starting after 50 looks like a crisis, a detour, something that went wrong, maybe even a breakdown. But guess what? After working with women who have successfully reinvented themselves and personally having navigated through that phase, I'm here to tell you that I can see something completely different. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that nobody tells us about starting over after 50. If you're new here or if you're coming back, hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Maria Martinez, and this is the Inner Authority Project. And on this channel, we talk about all things reinvention, identity, and inner authority for women after 50. So what if I tell you that there are some things that people haven't told us about reinventing ourselves or starting over after 50? In my journey, I have discovered 5 things, and those are things that I want to share with you today. All right, so let's talk about them. Reason or thing number 1 that nobody tells us about reinventing ourselves after 50 is that the timeline was never written for us. Guess what? Being a woman brings some level of expectations from society. Yes or yes, you should be done with school by a certain age. You should be getting married and having kids by a certain stage. Oh, by a certain other age, you probably should be done with your career and you should be settling down, building your life and living happily ever after, right? But what about when we turn into 50s or our 50s and we realize that we want to do something different? In reality, seems like society and other people, even loved ones, they don't know what to do with us, right? They look at a woman over 50 thinking, what is wrong with her? She wants to start all over? What about all the things that she has already going for herself? So that creates a little bit of internal conflict for us, right? Because again, the timeline wasn't written for us reinventing ourselves or starting over after 50. So that was a really tough one for me to swallow. The second thing is that I have to say about things that nobody told us about reinventing ourselves after 50 is that, my friend, if you're starting after 50, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from everything. And that is a game changer. Feeling like you are starting over might bring this sense of, I have to start from scratch. But in reality, think about this for a moment. You bring years, decades of experience in doing life successfully. So you know what works, what doesn't work. You by now know what you have been tolerating and probably what needs to change. So you bring all of those years of experience, which are actually an asset in this phase of your life. So think about this. You're not starting from zero, you're starting from everything. The third thing that nobody tells us when we're looking to reinvent ourselves after 50 is that what might look like a crisis, and from others looking from the outside totally can look like a crisis, it is actually a signal. It's a signal that even though everything might be looking mighty dandy until now, everything that we have done might be successful and we have created amazing lives for ourselves, we might have also outgrown that version of ourselves. So the script no longer fits. And this is the time in our lives where we're absolutely feeling that sign that there is something else for me. And what I find, my friends, is that typically that's a little message waiting to be expressed. Maybe a purpose that is waiting to be fulfilled. Maybe it is a contribution that is waiting to be made, a voice waiting to come out. So do not ignore that little signal, because starting over after your 50s is actually a sign. I like to refer to it as an invitation, but I'll talk about that again in just a few minutes. The fourth thing that nobody tells us is that discomfort is part of the design. And friends, you might agree with me that discomfort is never fun, right? We tend to hold back when something it's creating a little bit of friction. When we feel like it's something that is not longer comfortable for us, that might appear to us as a sign to stand back or to detract. And in reality, we might look at it as part of the process. I love looking at it as part of my process of me growing into 50s and 60s with confidence and conviction, knowing that I am the one that knows what is best for me, and I'm writing this chapter of my life unafraid of what others think. And hey, even what I think about myself sometimes, right? Who am I to want something else? Who am I to want to change everything that I have built for the last 20, 30 plus years? So that might be something that is a good point of reflection. And the last one is that this reinventing ourselves and starting over after 50 is not a crisis, it's an invitation, my friends. This is a time where we recognize all of the things that we have done well, and we strap our boots up and we know that we deserve more. It does not mean that we failed. It is actually a sign of growth. It is a sign that we're willing to perform the same role that brought us into this phase of life and that no longer fits us. So we are at that place where we're ready for more. It is an invitation to become and to fully embrace this next beautiful phase of our lives. So before we close, I love to ask you to reflect. If you were to remove all objections and all fears of what others would think and what others would say, and perhaps even what you would think yourself, what would you be moving towards? What would you be moving towards if there were no objections at all? That's where I want to set our sights on. That is where I would love to support you as you continue to set the stage to achieve all of the things that you're really aiming for. Even if you can name it yet, something is stirring up in there and you're ready for more, please write a comment on the comment section, because I look at all of those and I would love to know who's here with me. And if you want to get started, there's a link to a Jumpstart guide that you can download right now. As we say goodbye, I invite you to like, comment, and share on this video. Subscribe to this channel because we're building community here at the Inner Authority Project. And I look forward to seeing you on my next episode. Goodbye for now.